Joining me right now is House Armed Services Committee Chairman Mac Thornberry, Republican from Texas. Mr. Chairman, it's good to have you on the program this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am.
First, your reaction to what has taken place in Syria this morning.
These people are butchers. And not only do they use chemical weapons to kill people, they prevent any humanitarian aid from going in to help them after the attack. Remember, this happened just about exactly a year ago, and President Trump responded with a limited military strike against those Syrian military units that carried out those attacks. And it's been better over the last year. There have been fewer attacks and small scale. There's only one language that these people understand.
Well, let's talk about that, because this comes almost 1 year after the horrific sarin gas attack in April of 2017. The president was very clear in that last tweet saying Russia and Iran support Assad, pointing the finger at Russia and Iran. What should the president do in response?
Well, as I say, I think a limited military strike against those units that carry out these attacks should definitely be considered, just as he did a year ago. But this is part of a broader pattern when you look at Russia. Remember, they're the ones that had the targeted assassinations with using biological agents in Britain, and now they are standing by, propping up Assad, while dozens, if not more, people are wiped out using these chemical weapons. So it is essential that there be a united front against these sorts of tactics, whether they're targeted assassinations or whether they're this widespread use like we're seeing in Syria.
If Russia wants to be part of the international community and says that they want to be friends with the U.S., why is Russia supporting Iran and Syria?
Because Russia is looking to advance its interest no matter what the cost and no matter who gets hurt. And that's why our strength, especially our military strength, is absolutely essential for pushing back against Russia and what they're trying to do in various places against the world.
And we've got military strength right now at the borders. Congressman, I want to ask you about this because it's been a tough week for the military. We know that you and your colleagues just put forth this $1.3 trillion omnibus, and you agreed to all of this spending because you needed to get money for the military, because the military has been pummeled as a result of sequestration under the Obama years. What is your take on the national board's men and women right now on the southern border?
Well, under both Bush and Obama, the National Guard was sent in to the border, not on the front lines, but to support the Border Patrol. I guess I have two takes. Number one is it's time to resource the Border Patrol appropriately so we don't have to keep pulling the military in to fill up the holes. I don't understand why we can't give the Border Patrol the people and the resources they need. Secondly, though, while it's appropriate, I think, for the National Guard to be this backstop, the question is who pays? As you pointed out, we just approved a military budget that begins to fix our planes and ships and things. But if you just look at the last 3.5 weeks, we've had 6 major military aviation mishaps that have cost the lives of 16 service members. So if you take money away from fixing our planes and ships and training and use it for other missions, then we're not going to meet some of those essential military needs. So I'm fine if it's paid for by Homeland Security or something else, but I'm against taking money away from what we've got to do to repair our military for these other missions.
I don't understand this. This is a $47 trillion budget over 10 years. The Pentagon gets $7 trillion. They can't come up with $25 billion for a wall that the president has been talking about for so long, and that so many, along with the commander-in-chief, agree is necessary?
Maria, before that bill in March, we were spending 20% less on our military than was spent 8 years ago. And the world is not 20% safer. And just think about what's happened with Russia invading Crimea and ISIS and Syria and what the North Koreans are doing. The list goes on and on. Even after this bill, we're still 10% below where we were 8 years ago in spending for the military. And again, look at what's happened. Just this past week, we've had 4 major accidents where service members have lost their lives, either because of the training or because of the status of the equipment. It'll take a while to get to the exact cause. But the basic point is, if we're going to ask men and women to go out there and risk their lives for us, they deserve the very best equipment, the very best training our nation can provide. Yep. And they have not been getting it.
Yep, you've got agreement here, that's for sure. Mac Thornberry, it's good to see you, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us, Ms.